Welcome everyone to Super Audio Robo Podcast Z. I'm Ark, that's Nev, and this is the show where we recommend you the finest mecha content for your cultural and artistic development. That's it. I got nothing. Fuck.
Yeah, we don't really have an opening line for this show. It's fine. We've already had like a billion episodes of that, so you could survive one without one.
We don't even have an anime style opening for this because this isn't even an anime.
Yeah, would you believe there's mecha shows that aren't made in Japan sometimes?
Yeah, such as this, Sym-Bionic Titan. Yeah, you thought we were going to be going for the obvious one when we made the tease last week.
No, we're going for the other mecha show. What, you didn't know this one existed? Well, too bad. Sounds like a skill issue.
Yeah, maybe you should have been there in order to watch it when it was new. I wish I did.
I was there in the trenches watching it week by week, and it was a pleasant experience.
But yeah, I guess it would be a good time then to actually explain to people what the fuck Sym-Bionic Titan is.
Yes, let's explain. Please give us a synopsis.
On the outskirts of Sherman, Illinois, a small spacecraft with 2 humanoids and a robot arrive in order to escape the invasion of their home planet, Galaluna. Princess Ilana, her bodyguard Corporal Lance, and the cybernetic life form Octus are now tasked with integrating into Earth society to hide from Galaluna's enemies so the kingdom has a chance of rebuilding in the future. But the evil Mutrati know of the princess's whereabouts and send countless monsters towards the Earth to claim their lives. The three must not only blend in as high school students, but protect their new home by forming the powerful Sym-Bionic Titan, a super robot created by the merging of body, heart, and mind. Yeah, we got an American super robot show.
Yeah, we do. It's got a very basic premise that's kind of like, but I feel like that's fine.
I guess almost purposefully humorous that like the most standout part of that synopsis I read is that it takes place in fucking Illinois.
Yeah.
and not even in Chicago. It's not even in like the city of that state that you would most associate with it.
It's still Illinois of all places, sure.
yeah, just right here in Sherman. Mm-hmm.
So why don't you give us a bit of the history of this show then?
Yeah, because once we tell you who made this, it's going to make a lot more fucking sense.
Oh, yeah.
So yes, this is a super robot cartoon, not anime. We're just calling it a cartoon.
Yeah.
If we're just going by, if we're going by like the regional terminology rather than, I guess we could have been really pedantic about it and still call it anime because in Japan, anime refers to all animation. But I digress.
It's just how we categorize it. This is our show. We just do what we want anyway, so we're going to call it a cartoon.
Yeah. Our audience is predominantly English speakers, so this makes sense for them.
Yes.
But yes, this was produced by Cartoon Network Studios in 2010, directed by the one and only Genndy motherfucking Tartakovsky.
And if you don't know who that is, then why don't you tell them what else he directed, Ark?
Not much. I mean, like he was known early on for a cartoon called Dexter's Laboratory, and then went on to make his magnum opus, Samurai Jack.
Yeah, that's right.
He also did those animated, like, Star Wars Clone Wars shorts, you know, like the non-CG ones, you know, the one that predates that other show that was called Clone Wars, and might actually be the best Star Wars anything, not counting Andor.
So he's got kind of a pedigree to him, you might say.
Yeah, and this show in particular, it's funny, like looking at like what he has done, you know, before Sym-Bionic Titan, and obviously what has come after. I realize this much. This feels like kind of like the end of like a specific era of like his work, you know, like pretty much like the end of like his. I guess like his main like Cartoon Network era, or at least close to it. Mm-hmm. Because everything after this is like what we get into later on as far as the fate of this show. You could probably understand that he went on to like different and I guess arguably better opportunities for him, considering how much the network fucked him over with this.
It's unfortunate, but at least, you know what? At least he's still making things even now.
He's still fighting the fight of like just being all in on animation, no matter how many studio execs try to tell him, okay, but when are you going to make a real movie or a real show?
Also, very briefly, this is not going to be in any of the show notes, but this was, at the time of recording, it just came out that he made a short movie. He released some footage to Sony about a knight who controls a 20-foot suit of armor in the 14th century.
Yes.
And Sony execs were like, we're not sure if there's an audience to it. It's like, what the fuck are you talking about?
We're the audience, damn it.
We're the audience.
Yeah. I'm glad you brought that up. In fact, it's like I saw that like when it got posted, and I was immediately thinking in the days leading up to this recording, like which of us was going to be the first to mention it.
I had to,
because I was immediately thinking of Sym-Bionic Titan and just like robots in general, and I'm like, oh hell yes, Genndy making his own like fantasy mecha movie, like CG animated movie. Sure, we'll go with that. But back to the topic at hand.
Yeah.
Explaining a bit more of like Genndy's like influences, stylistic sensibilities, because obviously we mentioned some of the works that he did prior to Sym-Bionic Titan, and like the most notable one would be Samurai Jack.
Mm-hmm.
You know, anyone that has watched it understands as much why it is like just so amazing of a show. But like I think that's the one where Samurai Jack, I think, is the one that is probably like most relevant to, I guess, explaining or what the style and like kind of intent of Sym-Bionic Titan is, because Genndy Tartakovsky, a lot of his influences and what he likes to show in his works highlights that he is, just as much as he is fond of animation and like the history of like animation and cartoons in general, he is also very fond of Japanese pop culture. Like Samurai Jack was, you know, if anything, like his like way of like giving like a huge send up to, you know, like Japanese cinema and anime and just anything from like the country that he, and by extension us, think is cool.
Yeah, like you look back at his work and you notice like a lot of anime influences, and I feel like also some of the shows he directed have what I'd call like proper anime parodies of someone who actually watches and enjoys the show and not have like a passing familiarity of it and making a shitty parody or whatever.
Yeah, it's not a parody being made from someone who goes like, I don't understand this thing, but I guess it's popular, so we'll do something, I guess.
Yeah.
You know? That kind of cynical, like, parody or pastiche. Genndy Tartakovsky is, by comparison, very sincere. He is familiar with all this stuff and wants to channel a lot of like those influences in his works. So naturally, like it makes sense that Sym-Bionic Titan would be built as like his particular tribute to the super robot genre.
Yeah.
You know? Like, it may not be set in Japan, it may not have Japanese characters, but you heard the synopsis we read off. Like, the basic premise is like spot on for something like a Grendizer, for instance.
It sounds like something that could have been like a 70s anime, mecha anime.
Or maybe even like the modified American adaptation of a 70s anime where they got the rights and we're like, no one wants to know how to like pronounce these Japanese names, let's just Americanize it.
Yeah, it also has that same vibe.
So when it came to do the production for Sym-Bionic Titan, again, just for context, in Tartakovsky's I guess directorial catalog, this was his fourth major work on Cartoon Network. And I believe it is the final creation that he had where he had close involvement with the other creators of the show. Like, Genndy directed, but you look at the opening credits every time you watch an episode, there's always like 3 names that are credited as like the creators of like the overall show and concept. Like, Genndy Tartakovsky is the first one, and the others are Brian Andrews and Paul Rudish. They worked with him like in various capacities for like writing or animation on like his previous Cartoon Network productions. They did like air like a preview pilot at Comic-Con in 2009, and then finally the following year in 2010 it would air on Cartoon Network. Only for 20 episodes, went from September 17th to 2010, ended on April 9th, 2011. And unfortunately, as you might imagine, it did not see much success. Though the treatment by the network after it is arguably worse.
It is infuriating a little.
Yeah. You know how everyone these days always bitches about David Zaslav's like just easy tactic of just writing off movies and other productions under his company as a tax write-off just to save money?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I guess leading up to that, Genndy and co were wanting to get a second season for the show greenlit. They even went as far as like, drafting and writing up at the very least like 10 episodes, I think it was, like, of all sorts of different ideas before they basically got told that like it's not going to happen, mainly because there were no merchandising deals like associated with Sym-Bionic Titan. So like that was like stated as the main reason why Cartoon Network did not renew the show. Whether it was due to CN failing to find a suitable partnership or outright refusing to put in the effort at all isn't entirely clear, but I would not be surprised if it was the latter. Like big companies and like executives like this would absolutely like resort to these kind of like political machination bullshit to get out of something,
Yeah, and so we were kind of denied a second season, which is the biggest shame for the show. But at least it got 20 episodes.
It got 20 episodes. It even got like a second chance with a rerun in 2013, which, as far as personal history, like you said as much, you were there in the trenches when the show was airing for the first time on Cartoon Network.
Yeah.
I did not watch it then, just because by that point in 2010, I had basically stopped watching TV in general. But I only got back into watching TV in like 2012 and 2013 for a little while, because that was at the time when the Toonami block was revived as like basically the replacement for Adult Swim's like anime Saturday nights. Which made sense, but I was fine with that because it's like, okay, yeah, this is clearly directed at me and like my particular sense of nostalgia. I'll see what they have. And I recall, like, it was in 2013 during that summer, like a couple months before I would eventually like leave home to go to school and like and ultimately like lose my access to cable television. But it was during that time that they reran Sym-Bionic Titan, and I had only caught the first 8 episodes during that initial rerun. But unfortunately, that would be the last time Sym-Bionic Titan would air on television, as the following year the show would become subject to a tax write-off.
Of course it would be.
Fuck you, Warner.
God damn it. An unfortunate fate for a show that deserved better.
Like so few years that it had that like even in that time, like it didn't even get like a physical media release or anything like that. Like that's the extra fucked up part. At least with some of these other stuff that like have been written off or like forgotten to time, usually they last longer than this, that they're able to get like some kind of home media release.
Yeah.
Sym-Bionic Titan really just did not get that.
Yeah, it got kind of nothing.
It's rough.
Yeah.
It did not deserve it, least of all just because this is a high quality show.
Yeah.
A high quality show that came out in a time when it was like if there was another reason for why I was not watching TV around this time, least of all Cartoon Network, it was most definitely because like the original incarnation of Toonami ended, and Cartoon Network was going through like their other shit of like stupidly trying to pivot towards live action programming.
Yeah.
Because they felt that was the only way to recover from like a piece of guerrilla marketing for Aqua Teen Hunger Force getting misconstrued as a bomb threat. We all remember that.
Yeah.
Or at least the two of us do.
I sure do. If you haven't, then yes, that actually happened. Don't worry about it. It's a whole story.
Yeah, it was how the fuck is America a real country?
I don't know.
Like they think marketing could be like seen as like a bomb threat. They canceled this show. Like there's no justice.
You know what? We still got a pretty banger of a show still. So why don't we get into like the actual mechs of the show? Like let's talk about something good.
Yeah, let's start talking about like the meats of this cartoon right here. So like for our primary mecha, so there's like a few. Like, I guess the way you could describe ultimately like what Sym-Bionic Titan is that the type of super robot it is, I guess you could classify it as a combiner. Like, you have like your individual smaller robots that eventually come together to form the titular robot, that christens the name of the show. But as far as like the smaller robots you get, you have I guess I'll mention them both at the same time. The Chorus and Manus. Chorus is like a small, feminine-looking, like gold-colored robot with like a heart emblem. Generally, I guess you could say like is more defense-focused. Like often, like makes use of like an energy shield barrier and fires off lasers. While Manus is a much taller, like indigo-colored robot. with as many missile pods on its appendages as you can get away with. Yeah, it's funny. Like, thinking back to like the fact that Cartoon Network like canceled this show initially because they could not get any like merchandising deals or like toys assigned to it, and yet it's like these designs, especially with them being like animated in CG, but like CG in a way that blends in well with all the 2D stuff. It's like you could tell that they like that the proportions and like the limbs and all that, like you could easily see how toys would have been made for these if they had actually gotten the merchandise deal for it.
Yeah, you can't tell me that you can't make toys of robots. That's like the easiest thing in the world to make toys of. They've been doing it for years in Japan.
And that even applies to our titular robot. When they all combine, I mean, like there's a third robot that combines with Chorus and Manus, but like, I mean, we're going to save that for primary characters because depending on like what you think of him by the end of the show, you could argue he's not a robot.
He definitely has a lot of personality to him.
But the three combine into the actual Sym-Bionic Titan, or otherwise just called Titan. Very large, translucent, really cool design, all things considered. Like, it doesn't go for, like, I guess this is what I like as far as how Genndy Tartakovsky and co. really do split the difference on like doing their homage to like, you know, like the Japanese pop culture stuff that they really love while still having like a lot of the more Americanized like visuals and aesthetics like at the front and center, because you can tell Titan is a super robot, but it's not bearing a lot of the same traits as other Japanese super robots out there.
Yeah,
because obviously the translucent design of like its silhouette is a part of it. The helmet as well, it like factors into that as well, like a kind of like a sort of abstract. I guess would it be Greek or Roman like type of helmet, especially with like the kind of like. It's like the Mohawk design, I guess, for lack of a better term. And the fact that, like, the helmet design, you can clearly see it's supposed to be there's a face with, like, a helmet surrounding it. And that's even backed up by the fact that it has quite an array of, like, ancient or medieval old-time weaponry at its disposal. You know, like, it'll fight with a sword. It has, like, a shield. Like, sword and shield especially is, like, often, like, its common armaments. Can fly when it needs to go into space, especially. It even modifies its form with like wings and shit in order to do that. And even some other extra tools that might only show up for a single episode because it's just that versatile of a robot.
Yes, it's got a very good design to it where you could see the inspiration from other like the Japanese mechs, but like but with Gendy's like sensibilities put into it. In a lot of ways.
It's funny. Whenever I think about like when I was first shown the design for Titan itself, because of the obvious like more like Western influence that it had, I like my first thought when I saw it was like, oh, translucent iron giant.
I can see how you can get somewhere there with that.
They definitely both have like that same dedication to, you know, like having like the limbs and various body parts be like very spherical, you know, like there is nothing boxy or angular about the design, which is which is like very pleasing to my eyes. I would say, and that's as far as like robots and like. Like when it comes to monsters of the week, they're literally monsters. So, you know, giant monsters. They're kaijus for God's sake. So it's like it doesn't really make sense to put them like in the mecha section. Least of all because they don't even have like much in the way of like a fancy like unique name designation. They're just referred to as creatures. Just kind of a weird oversight. There are some things with like the terminology, good as the show is, where it feels like you could have come up with like a more unique name to describe that, you know?
Yeah.
The robots are good, but obviously what is just as good here are the characters themselves.
Oh yeah,
you know, we got like a whole trio of like our for our protagonists, and all kinds of other human characters that factor into things. So we'll start with the first of our trio, the Crown Princess of Galaluna herself, Ilana, voiced by Tara Strong. You can tell, especially when this is Tara Strong playing a character designed to be like the most pure-hearted, schmaltzy princess you can imagine, who is also the pilot of Chorus.
Yeah, she is very bubbly and very optimistic.
Very naive
And
as well. Yeah. Yeah, she is definitely that sort of character where it is like, you see the intent as far as like how they wrote the character and how her voice is being portrayed. That it's like, you're watching for the first time and you can feel yourself getting tempted sometimes to just like eye roll at like at the stuff that she is doing and like the outlook that she is trying to maintain. But like everything in the show, you just get endeared to it like after a good few episodes and are just along for the ride of like, all right, let's see how she tries to rally the student body around her in a way that just comes off super embarrassing.
Yeah, it's very endearing, I think is how I put like a lot of the characters in the show. They're not like the deepest characters, but like you don't need deep characters. Sometimes you just need like good personalities and fun dynamics.
The ultimate benefit of Ilana being the way that she is that it is meant to deliberately play off the personalities of like our other two protagonists.
Yeah.
Such as our second one, Corporal Lance. The baddest brooding boy ever. Like who does not want to like show any sort of emotion. It's like, I have to I really should have pull it up quickly because there's like a line from like I think it's like the first episode, like when all the characters are like, when they start integrating into Sherman High School, and it is like, as you would imagine, Ilana in particular makes like the first impression she makes obviously has people like kind of snickering and laughing behind her back because of just how kind of silly her personality comes off as. But by comparison with Lance, when like he's integrating into the whole situation, fucking everyone is obsessed with Lance, especially the girls. It's the exchange where it's like after like Ilana and Lance's introductions at school are already made, as well as our third character, which we'll describe soon after. It's like she is absolutely confused how someone that is like so constantly like grumpy and self-serious as Lance is somehow getting all of the attention. Until someone goes, dark hair, bedroom eyes, moody demeanor. I totally get it.
Yeah. I mean, made a broody bad boy. Of course, like the girls would be into it.
A broody bad boy with a tragic past, which is like part of the reason why he has become such a brooding bad boy, because like he used to be such a sweet, innocent guy until his father, who was a brilliant scientist on Galiluna, got caught up in some kind of accident, presumably a teleportation mess of some sorts, that his dad disappeared. Everyone, for official reasons, presume him to be dead. Though deep down, you can tell, like, Lance still believes that he had to, like, come out the other end of that experiment, like, somewhere in the universe, and is still unsure why he did that, ultimately leaving him alone. Like, I mean, for fuck's sake, there's an entire flashback episode dedicated to Lance.
Yeah.
That is all about him having to go to, like, a boarding school and just getting into, like, all manner of tropes related to sad orphan getting thrown into into like a boarding school with a dickhead bully that's constantly getting in his way.
Yeah.
And it's important as well to note when it comes to like their the characters, I guess, like human identities on Earth, is that, while they're not blood related on Galiluna, Ilana and Lance go by the last name of Lunas. Yeah. So, like, they are basically posing off as siblings while they're hiding out on Earth, which makes the dynamic between them all the more funny, considering that they really do end up like playing off each other very naturally in a way that comes off like they are siblings.
Yeah,
I guess you could say. But I guess it's also important now to bring up like the third protagonist. Like we mentioned in the spacecraft that crashed in Sherman, Illinois, that it was carrying 2 humanoids and a robot. Our third character is, in a sense, a robot, but you could say is also like so much more than that. That is Octus. Otherwise known as Newton when he is in his human form at school, where he looks like the biggest pill-shaped nerd.
Just a brick of a man. Yeah. A brick of a robot, anyways.
And otherwise will sometimes disguise himself as again, to keep up like the human identities. When they're at home, he'll play the role of Ilana and Lance's dad, who's just known as Dad.
Yeah,
who is also a big pill-shaped middle-aged man.
And for some reason also always gets the bitches.
Yeah.
Like,
oh god, yeah, you had to remind me about Barb, but then I was like, oh yeah, one of our highlight episodes has her in it for a brief moment.
Yeah, it does.
Oh
boy.
But yeah, Octus, I guess the obvious way to describe like his role in this trio is that he is very much the brains of the group.
Yeah.
Like Ilana is the heart, overbearingly so, and Lance is the body, least of all because, with him being in Galaluna's military, he's got a lot of physical training and like, strength, stamina, endurance, all that stuff that is necessary for a fight.
Yeah.
Octus, meanwhile, like, is like very matter of fact, robotic in his speaking pattern. Even when he is either Newton or Dad, they all have like the exact same like monotone voice. Sometimes there's a bit of like inflection changes in the tone depending on like the role and situation. Most of the time as the dad, which again kind of goes to show that like even though they're only pretending to be these roles, as the show goes on, they start naturally embodying them like a lot more than they realize.
Yeah.
But Octus, like as far as like his robotic abilities go, is like he's also pretty fast and a good fighter in his own right.
Yeah.
But when you see Octus's form, you realize that it is like a very translucent looking design. And that is because when all three of them are going to combine into Titan, usually the first part of the process is that Octus's body shapeshifts and enlarges. Because you can see like his spherical core in the center of it, and that is what is like basically, I guess, like working as like access the brain of Titan itself. But Octus is great. It's kind of shocking as well when you realize just how much, I guess, development and focus his character gets as like the show like progresses and gets closer and closer to its finale. Which I can understand why, since like starting out he is just like the very matter-of-fact, clinical-sounding robot. But by the end, it's like, oh, no, like, Octus is more than a robot. He's his own person.
Yeah, he definitely gets a lot of development throughout the show, and you get to see it, like, I guess more than the other two as well.
When it comes to the topic of characters and romantic relationships, because so many people that watch anything, cartoons or otherwise, just love to ship whoever's on deck. But Genndy Tartakovsky definitely mentioned this, I think, at some point, where it was like, there's obviously no intent with like Ilana or Lance to be like kind of romantically involved in the story. Like they very much wrote in the way where it's like I guess like at best you could say it's more of like a platonic type of relationship, least of all because they already have to pose off as siblings anyway, and that would just be weird.
Yeah, it would be.
But it's really like the depth of like that they give to Octus is demonstrated by the fact that like they do put a lot of emphasis in the latter half of the show on the fact that he gets that he ends up dating the school lead cheerleader. This is specifically when he is Newton, by the way.
Yeah,
so it is the big nerd getting the eyes of the hottest redhead in the whole school, who's like the captain of the cheerleading squad. Like the unlikeliest couple. Like it's the most obvious like cliche in the book, but they still make it like pretty enjoyable. And least of all because they as nice as this relationship is, least of all for Newton, because he kind of gets to be he gets to be with someone that treats him the most like he's a person, because she doesn't know he's a robot.
Yeah. It's a very unexpected moment of the show, but don't worry. It's not like we ruined it for you. It also leads to one of the funniest things that happens in the show, which is not in our highlight episodes, which, man, how did they get away with airing somebody twerking on the Cartoon Network?
Pushing the limits of that TV PG rating.
They sure are. No, there's
no. Oh yeah, that's the other thing we forgot to mention when it did air, is that this was not a morning or afternoon time slot cartoon. This was airing in the evenings on the network.
was also going to say there is nothing more hornier. There's nobody more hornier than an animator. Just trust us all this.
Yep. Furiously nodding.
Yeah.
We got to finish our characters.
Yeah,
though.
we do.
I mean, like, I guess we'll make passing mention to like to the main antagonist more or less, even though he shows up most prominently in like the beginning episodes, and that just like tapers off really fucking hard, and that's General Modula, who's like basically the one he's basically the one that like leads the Mutrati's invasion of Galaluna, least of all because he's actually a traitor.
Yeah.
Really great voice though.
Oh yeah.
And his face looks like a monkey. Or at least like the lower half of his face, because you never see his eyes.
Yeah, he definitely has a very monkey look, but he's still kind of intimidating whenever he shows up.
It's like if the Star Fox series ever bothered to like give like a full profile of what Andros looked like before he became a head and two hands, I would imagine him to look like that.
Oh yeah, I can see that.
But other characters that are sorta antagonistic, one of them definitely still antagonistic even by the end, though he's not a bad guy, and that is General Julius Steele.
If you're a comic nerd, if you know who General Ross is, he's basically kind of like that, except instead of the Hulk, he's beefing with a bunch of teenagers without knowing it.
Yeah, and best of all, voiced by an absolute heavy hitter on this show, John DiMaggio.
Oh boy, yeah.
I really don't know what audition process was possibly like for Sym-Bionic Titan. I almost want to hope that that kind of like you said, Gendy Tartakovsky decided, what if we had our own version of General Ross and we had him voiced by John DiMaggio and just completely bypassed any semblance of needing the actor to do an audition? They just talked to him. It's like, hey, yo, we got an idea.
Yeah, I would believe it. Just say, hey, let's just get John DiMaggio on the show because he's always great.
Oh, he is just so perfect. Yeah. Like the biggest scenery chewing motherfucker in the entire show. Every line, he's just like, oh yeah. You could just feel like the script is like just a big sirloin, and he is like tearing into that fucking thing every time he is on screen.
It's like his lines might as well just be all capitalized because that's how he's reading them.
But yes, he is very much like filling a kind of similar role, like as you described, to the main inspiration of General Ross. He's a general in the United States military, and like pretty much any time, like it's actually established like. Right in the very first episode, once Lance, Ilana, and Octus arrive on Earth and need to hide, where it is like they get into a straight-up altercation with the U.S. military at the start before they realize, oh wait, they're humanoid like us, we better hide. And that's just kind of like the start of this long-running underlying conflict, on top of the fact that Titan has to constantly like fight all these different monsters being sent by Mutrati. You got General Steele that's basically always showing up like for the most part, like in the aftermath of whatever fight happened, and is constantly trying to figure out, where's the Titan, who's piloting it, like get all these answers, because aliens on American soil, not on his watch.
Yeah.
It's always got to be the American military. It's always got to be these assholes.
Every time. Yeah, he's kind of like more of a background antagonist, where he's kind of like more like a looming threat.
Yeah, by the time the series finale rolls around, you definitely get the sense that he's getting like his big time to shine. Least of all because he's not just beefing with two teenagers and a humanoid robot. He's also beefing with Solomon Kane. I mean, just Solomon. Or, well, I guess he's technically Kane. Yes, this is the most obvious fucking reference that they were able to get away with.
Yeah.
Because Solomon looks like Solomon Kane and is the leader of like a multinational like organization called G3.
Man, I wonder what this is supposed to be referencing.
You're wondering just like how they were able to get away with this shit.
Yeah. That's the
like, especially when it gets to the part where he is like playing a different character and just goes by the alias of Kane. Yeah. And I'm like, I immediately see through like what you're trying to do in this episode, you motherfucker.
You are not even hiding in what you're trying to like reference. And for the people who don't know, Solomon Kane is a character written by Robert E. Howard, which is I think is that the Conan guy, right?
Yeah, Conan the Barbarian. Yeah. So you have like this Solomon Kane, like a looking motherfucker, dude that looks like he should be hunting hunting vampires in this universe, but instead he's just on the trail of like robots fighting kaijus. But don't worry, he's got an entire army of Red Rangers at his disposal.
Yeah.
That's at least another instance when you look at that and you're like, oh, okay, you see Gendy and Co. just like throwing a bone towards like their more obvious Japanese like inspirations and influences, and just being like, yeah, let's just make them look like the red leader of a Super Sentai team, except that's all the soldiers. The red jumpsuit, the helmet with the painted on like mouth, they got like the scarf, like everything. Yeah, and they're all part of like a global organization whose authority supersedes the US, which obviously does not sit well with General Steel in this case. But it makes sense because they're clearly like the ones best tasked for, what they need to do in as far as like dealing with like this presence of alien activity that's happening on Earth.
Yeah.
But even so, as it goes on and gets near the end, you find that they're like our main trio and Solomon are like are much better as like allies in general. Like they actually. Like, whatever beef they end up having during the middle of the series, like, gets swept away, like, pretty soon after. Like, there's... If you watch the show, and especially when you've gotten to the end of the finale, you'll see why. And you could even theorize as much as, like, why G3, or at least, like, Solomon and Co. would be, like, willing to work together a lot more closely with Titan itself.
Yeah.
That's a lot of the main cast I wanted to focus on. Obviously, there's all the other characters that show up like at Sherman High School.
Yeah.
But that would just like double this entire list.
Yeah, they're all just side characters who get like a brief moments, but they're not that important in the grand scheme of things.
Some side characters you could look at and be like, oh yeah, if this show did get a second season, they would be like next in line for like some serious character development.
Oh yeah.
So why do we recommend this show that met an unfortunate end?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I guess we'll get into it then.
Yeah, let's get into it. Why do we recommend this show? Despite like
despite the everything after. Well, it's really interesting just because this is something that I always feel I have to bring up or remind people, as much as it's sometimes kind of shocking to people that I mention this to that aren't as into this genre as we are. Where you would think that mecha, like just the concept of giant robots, is something that has like a strong universal appeal all around the world. But a lot of what makes the genre what it is, as evident by by all of the shit that we have talked about on this podcast prior, is that it is an inherently Japanese genre, in entertainment, when you think about it. Especially with super robots. Like, we obviously know that, like, with Western mecha, when it does happen, like, your battle techs and whatnot, it tends to lean more towards, like, the real robot side of the spectrum, just because, like, audiences in, like, America and around the rest of the globe are a lot... They're able to have, like, a better time grasping the idea of robots as, a vehicle in the same way that, like... that it's like a tank or a attack chopper, like a military vehicle. But most of the time, like, they just do not have like they do not get like the appeal of like what makes super robots so enjoyable, because a lot of it is rooted in a lot of the tropes that you find in all kinds of Japanese hero productions. So it's really fun and exciting. Kind of in the same way, like when Del Toro made Pacific Rim, it's like this is a non-Japanese creator that clearly loves this stuff. Making their own take on it and doing it as like a very sincere, more than just an homage, I guess, because we could keep saying it's a tribute to it, but by the same token, it is also doing a lot that is like unique to itself and makes it stand out as something that is not just resting on the laurels of the genre heavy hitters that inspire it.
Yeah, like I think that's The one thing I really appreciate about the show is, once again, if you didn't get this, we appreciate sincerity in the show. And Symbiotic Titan is very sincere about what it loves, and it loves the mecha genre. And it makes its own
Mm-hmm.
flavor of it, where it's still unique and like stands on its own in a lot of ways. And that's kind of what makes it special.
Especially because, like, I think the way that it ends up going about it is like, you look at a lot of other mecha anime out there, like, obviously, like, the mechanisms of the robot, whether it's super or real, does it combine, does it transform, etc. Obviously, that's typically like the first half of what makes a mecha anime appealing. It's usually the first thing that gets your attention to be like, all right, I'll come here for this.
Yeah.
But obviously, what makes those shows have a lasting impact is like, what other artistic influences or genre ideas is it blending in so that it works as a story? You know?
Yeah.
You know, some of them are war stories. Some of them are like, could be something like a police procedural,
Yeah.
a classic superhero show, something like that. Sym-Bionic Titan's answer to that is that it is an American high school drama.
Yeah.
That's the main appeal. Admittedly, if you were to tell me that that was what it was at the, as like the primary thing, I probably would not have given it much mind, because that's typically the type of story I don't normally fuck with, least of all because I try to forget high school the older I get.
Yeah. It feels like it's mixing together elements of old, like, superhero comics in a way.
Yeah.
With, like, heroes who are trying to live dual lives, balancing having a social life and also defeating evil, basically.
Yeah, that really is the difference more than I think about it, because while you do see it sometimes in Japanese, like, hero properties, it's like,
Yeah.
like, the heroes themselves, their lives often feel so separate from everyone else, even when they're not wearing the suit or piloting the robot, you know?
Yeah.
Or in some cases, if they're the hero piloting the robot, they usually just make that well known anyway, because I guess from Japan's perspective, the need for the secret identity is not nearly as important as being recognized as a hero that is actually contributing to the rest of the community. With America, I guess in an ironic sense, considering how much more boisterous Americans are supposed to be compared to the Japanese, it's like, it's like, we got to keep this identity secret. It's going to make things a lot more complicated in our high school lives if people realize, oh, wait, we formed the giant translucent robot that fights the monsters.
Yeah. It's really funny when you say it that way, especially when you remember that whenever, like, Japan tackles, like, superhero media, like with One Punch Man or My Hero or whatever, they never bother with the whole secret identity thing. It's always, no, you know who they are. It's all out in the open.
Yeah, which, again, is contrasted with the irony of that, even, like, as far as, like, you don't try to, like, make, like, a loud ruckus or anything like that when you're in, like, Japanese society or whatever, you know? Like, there's a lot of, like social norms and decorum that kind of needs to be maintained, which I guess is what makes anime appealing in that sense, because it's a place where you get to just forego that entirely.
Yeah, I like going back to Sym-Bionic Titan. It is kind of like blending together like American comics with like Japanese mech. That's what we get to, like, when you mix those two together.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and all with like a lot of subplots that revolve around like these high school characters. So you get like all kinds of like different episodes where like the characters are all getting into shit that you would absolutely have found like in any other, I guess, like high school like show of that era, whether animated or live action, you know? I mean, like, you know, like there's the episode where, you know, a character's trying out for the cheerleading squad, but the head cheerleaders are all huge fucking bitches.
It's very American like teenage movie.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
That really is like the standout part of it. Although I guess like one other thing that's like really memorable about Sym-Bionic Titan when you watch it, aside from, you know, like the blending of like, you know, like Western and Japanese, like, yeah, you know, pop culture influences and whatnot, is that, well, with this being a Genndy Tartakovsky directed fuck, I was about to call it anime. God damn it, I'm so used to it.
You almost slipped up.
Nope, cartoon.
No, cartoon.
It's a cartoon. Damn it. Yes, I I think the other way that Gendy loves to show how much he loves animation is, beyond just pulling from other animated works that he likes and is influenced by, is that he loves to show off things in motion.
Yeah.
A lot.
Oh, yeah.
This is an extremely hyperkinetic giant robot show.
Yeah.
Even compared to what you get out of a lot of anime, which tends to rely a lot more on, usage of like key animations for combinations or special attacks and whatnot, stuff that can be easily reused. Whether it's with the robot, like Titan fighting the monster of the week, or when they're not controlling Titan, when they're just in their humanoid forms, you just see like a lot of like over the top motion and like high speed moments, especially with Lance, least of all because he is like meant to be like a very fit, agile kind of soldier.
Yeah.
That you're gonna see him do so many goddamn flips. Because it's cool.
It's because and they're right. It is cool.
Sometimes silly, and sometimes it can be a bit like, overbearing at times where it is like I feel like I guess thinking about it, this comes from some of the past work on Samurai Jack, because it also does this a lot, and I think it made a bit more sense there a lot of the time. Just that sometimes there are moments in the show where they are kind of adverse to wanting to actually have proper dialogue.
Oh, yeah.
Like, they just want to show everything with motion, that by the time someone decides to actually say something, it's kind of the most, like, terse, pragmatic line that they could say, that is just to kind of acknowledge that, oh, yeah, they still talk, and they're still acknowledging, oh, yeah, that thing's still on her tail, or we got to get out of here, or something like that.
It's a very Gendy thing to do, because he does that in a lot of his shows.
I totally get that as a stylistic kind of decision, but just that, again, it's probably ultimately for the reason why Samurai Jack is still his magnum opus, least of all because he was able to finish it even a decade later, but also it kind of made more sense with how that show established itself even from the first episode.
Yeah, it made more sense in Samurai Jack, at least.
So many good things about Titan that it still remains frustrating after all this time how it was treated after the initial airing. But at least not only do we get 20 episodes, the final 3 episodes, like the 3-part story, like mini story that it uses to end on, is still so strong. Even if it, I mean, like, it'll still leave you frustrated because for any other show that got more respect, like the 3-parter at the end would have been like the kind of what you get like in some long running like a year-long super robot anime from the old days, like the Brave series or something, where it is like it would basically be like the perfect mid-season story arc, like where it's like the stakes are as high as they've ever been, but the heroes come out of it even better, and you're ready for what new adventures come in the latter half. This show really needed that. That's really what they were trying to aim for with this.
We're not ending on a cliffhanger. We're ending on but we'll just wait because there's more, but there's not more.
Yeah. Then and there probably never will be more.
Yeah.
Like it was still a miracle that Gendy got the chance to like make that final season of Samurai Jack, even though it was like by that point audience like appeal or whatever, when I was like very different because it was no longer needing to like adhere to like the same guidelines on Cartoon Network from a decade prior.
Yeah.
But again, with it being now written off for tax purposes, not only is there not going to be any more Sym-Bionic Titan, but getting a hold of it in any capacity is going to be like, I think compared to all the shows that we talked about on this podcast before, and especially after this one, is arguably the hardest to try and find.
Oh, this is, like you said, out of every show, this one's a struggle.
Yes, because obviously being canceled, treated as a tax write-off, means that, not only does that mean that the owners are obliged to not air it on the network ever again, but assuming that there's even much life left in the network at this point, I don't fucking know.
No idea.
But obviously, with how quickly that turnaround was from when it first aired to eventually getting like its write-off, is that like we said, there's like no physical releases for this. You know, like not even a cheap DVD to like rip the files from for preservation's sake. There was a brief glimmer of hope that as you might imagine, completely passed me by because I did not get to watching this show again until this year.
Yeah.
But in 2019, Sym-Bionic Titan did miraculously show up on Netflix in its entirety before being pulled a year later because the service cannot abide having its audience be able to watch good stuff.
Literally the briefest period. And it's like, come on. Come on.
I don't even know if like the right kind of people like were able to catch it on Netflix and potentially like rip the video files from there for a potentially better quality.
Yeah.
Because the only option is to sail the high seas.
Yeah.
And since it's not technically an anime, that means you're going to need to head to different waters in order to accomplish that task.
It's worth it. It's worth it, though. Trust us. Please trust us that it's worth the trouble.
Yeah, it's worth the trouble, even if you have to deal with the Cartoon Network watermark in the bottom right corner of every single one of these episodes.
Yeah,
it's fine.
It's fine.
Because again, I don't know because I don't think people bothered to rip the episodes from when they were airing on Adult Swim, because at least then like the Adult Swim watermark would be infinitely less obnoxious.
Yeah.
So yeah, but like more than likely, like if you get a hold of like the episodes for this show, like you're very much going to see like rips that someone made from when it was airing week to week for the first time in 2010. That's just kind of how it is.
Yeah.
It's like it's not gonna be the best quality, but it's still gonna be watchable.
Oh yeah. It's still watchable. It's still good, decent enough. You could survive watching something that's like not HD or something.
All right, we're past that point.
Yes.
Now we're ready for the second half of the show.
Now we get into spoilers for our highlight episodes.
Yep. If you're interested in what we described with Sym-Bionic Titan and you're willing to jump through all the hoops necessary, stop this episode and go download the show now.
Yeah.
Yes, I am saying download now. Go pirate it. I am no longer asking. I am no longer hiding.
Yeah.
We have been very unsubtle with this. Like fucking Jack Sparrow that shit.
Yeah, just Jack Sparrow the shit.
Otherwise, stick around on the other side as we discuss our highlight episodes for Sym-Bionic Titan. Okay.
All right.
Time to start with the episode that I did not watch during its Adult Swim Toonami rerun. And I think it is not a coincidence that I think this is the start of when Sym-Bionic Titan like hits its stride as a show. And I went from, oh yeah, this is a pretty good show, to oh, this is one of the greats.
Oh yeah. Oh, this is the episode that did it for you, huh?
Yeah, because it was the first 8 episodes that I only caught when it was like when it was in its rerun period back in 2013. So like I basically had to leave for college and go enter that part of my life before I got this emotional gut punch of an episode.
Oh yeah. Oh, this episode definitely shows you that oh, this is the kind of show we're dealing with. It definitely shows you why it's special.
And that episode is Tashi 497. A very weird sounding name. Sounds like a constellation. I don't know, but it makes sense when you get to the end of it. After countless defeats at the hands of the Titan itself, our antagonist, General Medulla, in what might possibly be like the last episode he ever appears in, I'm pretty sure, personally visits the lab that creates our monsters of the week to file a complaint. And he's going to bitch about how annoying it is when someone repeats a word back at you as a question.
I don't know if this is a jab at how often this happens in anime or not, but
I'm pretty sure it has to.
Yeah, though, this feels very deliberate.
Especially when it is like, when like Durak, the guy that is basically being grilled about this, realizes as much and is just pausing that Medulla then has to say, choose your next word carefully. Yeah, so this is, Medulla himself is going here personally to figure out, okay, I need a new creature to deal with this problem, and I want to personally see what it is before you send it, and as well as verify for myself if you're doing your job well or not. So he's getting the tour of all kinds of different monsters, just like the biggest, most like horrific giant beasts clearly designed by artists with juvenile glee.
Oh, yeah.
You know? Like, just some of the descriptions on them, like fucking firing its teeth as missiles, is like, yes, I love that you, like, took this idea from, like, your 10-year-old son and decided to make it into a piece of animation. Like, you're a good dad.
Someone had fun with these, I bet, just coming up with, like, monsters that will never get used.
Yeah, so we're just gonna have him on display here before Modula finally sees a monster that he thinks is, quote, special enough. And it's a creature that we don't even get a full view of. He just looks into a tiny ass cage, sees something presumably very small, and goes, "That's it? That's special?" Well, apparently it is, because while we don't see its full form, we're told that it is a living bomb. And it's immediately decided to have it attached as the warhead for a rocket heading to Earth.
Yeah, and that's where we start.
Yeah, that's the setup. And what follows after that is pretty much the most action you get to see with Titan itself in this episode, shockingly. Like, not at the end, as you typically would think. This is a good demonstration of, like, of how the studio understood, like, their main influences and that they were making a super robot cartoon. Is that the best examples of that type of genre are ones where, you know, you're not following the formula you set in stone strictly. You find ways to mix it up, and like having the most action done with Titan be kind of at the beginning rather than be the climax is a sign that they know what they're doing. Yeah. So you get to see Titan intercepting the rocket, dismantling it piece by piece. Is an impressive sequence, especially when it's not a kaiju that they're fighting, of all things, because it's clearly preparing for something different. Yeah, but they at least take what they presume is the warhead, and has like the creature that Modula had picked out. They extract it from the rocket before it crashes. Like, all the pieces, debris, like falling all over the place in the countryside. It's like, yeah, you know, it's a good thing that this show isn't did not decide to throw a subplot at us that implied that Gendy knows about Zambot 3.
Oh God, yeah, that would be a very different show.
Yeah, we at least get moments like this where it's like they will acknowledge that, oh yeah, like shit got fucked up in the surrounding vicinity, but rather than have like a moral crisis about it, they're like, we should just leave.
Yeah, it's fine. Nobody really got hurt anyways. Just a bunch of houses got like demolished.
Yeah, just a bunch of pieces of metal littering the plains. So they leave the scene of the crime with the creature intact from like the box that was inside and being used for the warhead. And we see the creature's full form. It's a tiny blue ball with beady little eyes and tentacle legs. Already, Ilana is just fucking smitten by its cuteness.
Yeah, she's losing it over his.
And it's at this point that Modula is watching with intent, checking the vital signs of the creature itself, because how it detonates and becomes a living bomb capable of destroying a planet is if it's, you know, like its vital signs start to spike as a result of like, you know, like too much motion and colliding, you know, with an object that causes it to, you know, like come to a halt very, very quickly. And it looks like it's starting to get there as Ilana, Lance, and Octus, disguised as Dad now, are driving their car, you know, like they could have stayed on the road, but they were like, it's a traffic jam. Let's just take a shortcut. And they just plow through a fucking forest. The creature almost hits the windshield as it flies forward before Lance catches it and foils the bomb plan completely. Rip Durock, you lost your life over something so simple.
Yeah, despite this being a Cartoon Network show, they're not afraid to show dudes getting got or just fucking getting vaporized, I guess.
Yeah. That said, though, I'm going to say bad decision on Modula's part. He was clearly impatient.
Yeah.
Because I think Durock... Well, no, I guess you could say this is still Durock's fault because he failed to mention that there is another situation in which this creature can explode. And it is much sadder by comparison.
Probably should have mentioned that a bit sooner, too. Like, oh yeah, it'll just explode on its own. Don't worry about it.
That, or, he could have put a collar on the creature with a camera just to see where it's at.
That's it.
It's probably a lot more reliable.
Any of those could have, helped him still be alive.
So the trio get home. They get the creature inside as well. Octus especially trying to deflect from Barb and her nosiness.
Mm-hmm.
That's not the last time we're gonna see Barb in this episode.
This is
by
not
the way.
the last time.
But yes, we get inside the house. So many good moments in this.
Mm-hmm.
Least of all because it's you get the funny contrast of Ilana being he's so cute, can we keep him? Before Octus and Lance just shout angrily, no! And it's just dramatic music as they go, we don't know where it's from. Mutrati sent it. We don't know what kind of danger it poses. Yada yada.
Mm-hmm.
And it's all right, fine. We'll just put it in a kennel for the night. It's fine.
It's fine.
But that doesn't stop all three of them in a row sneaking in the kitchen to play with the creature and just give it different names. Mm-hmm. Ilana obviously loves it dearly and names it Mushy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, of course you would. Yeah.
Octus, I'll mention Octus next, even though he's the last to show up. But he basically goes into analyze it and gives it the very clinical name of Creature 497.
Yeah.
Because every new creature he meets that, even if it has a designated species assigned to it, he just calls it a creature.
Mm-hmm.
Barb's dog is Creature 496 that you see on the list, which is pretty funny, all things considered.
Mm-hmm.
But really, the highlight of it is Lance, because the best moments with Lance are when he gets to drop the brooding tough guy act.
Yeah.
As he plays with Tarax, just tossing him around, roughhousing him, somehow without causing him to blow up, and then deciding he shall be named Tarax. He puts on a fake announcer voice as he names him after a Galilean general.
Yeah, it's very dramatic.
He also looks at his tentacles and trying to do something about about his physiology before going, let's just assume you're one.
Yeah, just looking at it, just pausing. It's I'm gonna just say you're a he. All right, yeah.
No idea which of these tentacles is the dick, but we'll roll with it.
Let's go with it.
But obviously, you can tell that Lance deep down thinks he's cute as well, just like Ilana, but they have different names for it. Octus obviously is, not as smitten as as you can see.
Mm-hmm.
He is absolutely analyzing the material of this creature, least of all because it shed a piece of its skin, and is able to come to the conclusion and warn Lance and Ilana, guys, put the creature down. It is a bomb. And it's still kind of funny, from this point on, how it is they all have their own individual names for it, but it's they kind of stop arguing very shortly after this about what they want to call it. They just call them the names that they personally decided, and everyone knows immediately that's who they're referring to.
Yeah.
But now we got to get into the part of the episode that shows that, once again, Gendy loves to make extremely kinetic cartoon sequences. Because Barb decides to just welcome herself in, even though she just rings the doorbell and doesn't fucking wait for it to open.
Just barges right in. All right, sure. She just really wants to get...
Yeah. And then her dog, Hercule, makes a fucking mess of things because starts chasing Mushy all around the house, scaring Tarax to death, the poor fucking thing, and knocking everything over. I think all it takes really to get Hercule to stop is just opening a can of tuna. I guess that works. I don't know. From my experience of reading Calvin and Hobbes comics, usually if you open a can of tuna, that's typically a sign that Hobbes is going to wreck your shit.
Well, maybe in this case, it helps. I don't know. But it does definitely stop them for now.
The big bulldog likes canned fish.
Yeah,
who knew?
Who knew? Would it?
Yeah. But it still doesn't solve the problem, because in the commotion, Creature 497 escapes the house and ends up on the road and down the highway. So now all three of them in this very action-packed, but deep down when you think about it, oddly comedic sequence of, we gotta hurry and catch the creature before it gets run over and explodes. And it's causing all manner of pile-ups and traffic accidents as they go in their robot forms to try and recover Mushy.
This is where all the action budget went into, apparently, in this one chase, because shit is happening. Like, they're animating the
Yeah.
shit out of it.
Cars swerving, going all over the place, kids cheering because obviously it's the most excitement they're ever going to get in fucking Sherman.
Yeah.
Whatever. That's also totally an American cartoon thing where it is like American kids are such shits. They'll totally cheer when they see like a fight going on.
They will cheer like you wouldn't believe. Yeah.
But alas, Mushy / Terax / 497's deteriorating condition is hitting the breaking point because what Octus has discovered is that it's not just a human bomb that will explode if it hits enough force. The other cause for it to explode is if it is in an atmosphere that is incompatible with it, that it basically its immune system treats it as a poison, you know? It is basically getting sick on H2O, and that is bad.
Yeah.
And worst of all, it gets to the emotional core of the episode that many people out there are going to identify with immediately. Like, this is about the pain of having to let go of a pet who is going to pass away soon.
Yeah. That surprise, this is a story about losing your pet actually, and how there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah, it's real rough when it happens, least of all because, like, you know how everyone is feeling. Like, Ilana is obviously showing it, like, her emotions about this moment on her sleeve. Lance is still trying to put up the brave face about it, though he is still obviously very considerate about it because it's Octus who is like, you know, I realize what I'm about to say might come off as harsh, but like, and that just leads to Lance immediately going, then don't say it.
Don't say, yeah.
Like even he has like the courtesy to be like this is emotionally hard on her and me as well, even though I'm not going to admit it. So just please show some sympathy for God's sake.
Yeah, it's definitely like this episode just doesn't shy away from the sadness either. It's like, I feel like in any other show there would have been a way to save like any other cartoon, there'd be a way to save Mushy, but here it's like, no, all you can do is just let it die in peace and just let it pass away. And it's like, oh damn.
Everyone that has been so attached to like a pet that they have, like, well, especially if they were young, probably felt that same way.
Yeah, it feels very real in a way,
it feels very real, and what happens next very much kind of highlights that. Again, they, like, even though they're using what is obviously key animation, you know, the formation of Titan, is like, you're seeing it happen, but it's not for like a moment where you're like, oh yeah, they're gonna go fight the monster and save the day. It's like, no, they're going to turn into Titan and fly Mushy into space so that it can expire peacefully without its explosion harming anyone. And got this sad music going on the entire time. It does not ease up on the emotional impact.
Yeah.
And I think like another part that like sells it is like after the explosion happens, when they let Terax go, like Ilana has her line where she goes, "After everything we've been through, this one was the hardest."
It's like, oof.
And then is immediately followed by not a line from Lance, but like a very visible pained expression that is like, you know, with all three of them basically like combined into Sym-Bionic Titan in a way where it's like their minds and hearts are kind of all unified. It's like that I think that's only in that situation you're able to see like Lance like show such a visibly pained expression as he is like clearly anguishing from like the cute little pet that he hardly knew. Like they saved it one day and then had to let it die the next because he got sick and it's going to blow up. But the episode, it wasn't going to end in a way where they find a way to save it. But they still find a way to end on a bittersweet note. Because the trio, they go to an observatory where Newton fucks around with the telescope because he clearly, I guess, had like an inclination of like wanting to check on the location where 497 blew up. And looking through it, they found something miraculous. A new nebula formed in the area where it exploded. And the owner of the observatory, after initially assuming that the kids were fucking around with the telescope to check out Uranus, realizes that what they found was like a new cosmic formation and gives them the chance to give it a new name, since they're technically the ones that discovered it. So in honor of the creature that these three had different names for, they all decided on Tashi 497. There's the episode title for you. It all comes together.
Mm-hmm. It's a very sweet way to end the episode, I feel.
Gone but not forgotten.
We still remember you, yeah.
Yeah. Damn you, Modula.
Damn you, Modula. It's like a gut punch, but it softens the blow a little near the end with that.
Yeah, you could see why, like, from this episode onward was when I was like, oh, this show really is actually legit fantastic.
Yeah.
Because you get a lot more episodes like this where, while not as emotionally painful as the trauma of, like, having to let your pet pass away, other of them have, like, really strong pathos in, like, their ending sequences as well, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I often, as well, think about, it's not our next highlight, but I mean, I also think of the I Am Octus episode.
Yeah.
Where that's dealing with like, I guess, like, the humanity of Octus himself as a being.
Yeah.
Like, that one's really good.
That one's also good.
But the next one I really want to get into is episode 15, Disenfranchised. Oh, wait, no, hold on. I need to do the line read again. I need to do it properly as it's... Yeah. We're disenfranchised.
Oh, perfect. You managed to copy it perfectly.
Yes. As a shitty band starts their amateur indie rock set list in the school cafeteria, that everyone gets alienated and fucking leaves. Except Lance, somehow.
Lance is the only one who's like, yo, I think I'm into this, actually. It's like, God damn it, Lance.
Yeah. For such a rebellious yet hard-ass, like, Galilean soldier who's, like, for the start of the show especially, is ultra-focused on just wanting to, like, beat the Mutrati and, like, doesn't care about this high school shit.
Yeah.
Again, like, all these main characters, they start naturally integrating into their roles, like, in a way that is, like, more subtly than they realize. That, of course, that the shitty indie, like, emo rock, I don't know, or I don't even know what to fucking describe it. Music genre labels are a goddamn mess.
They are.
But whatever. Lance looks like the type of person that would be into this shit.
I see you. I know how much of a chuny you are on the inside, Lance.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You are. And of course you're going to buy a guitar later and try to, like, start playing yourself.
There's probably worse motivators to get into playing music.
That's true. And he's just doing it because he likes it.
He's doing it for the music. But until he gets that guitar, meanwhile, we have a literal baby-faced Marine who looks like a buffed-up Archie as a transfer student to Sherman High.
That is...
But really, he's sent in by General Steele to infiltrate the school and figure out the identity of Titan's pilots, because they have at least deduced 15 fucking episodes in that a lot of the alien activity related to Titan seems to be focused around this particular school. So hopefully this Marine, who looks super young, won't have any problems blending in. Ha! Ha 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 ha!
A sarcastic laugh.
I especially love the exchange where it's like, where Steele goes, "You see anyone of suspicious nature?" And all Stevens has to say, as he looks around at all the different cliques, "General, sir, they all look suspicious."
It's perfect.
Yeah, followed by some, "How do you do, fellow youths?" As he tries to talk with them and fails miserably.
Oh, the perfect use of the "what's up" thing. That was like memes.
What's up?
No Zoomer is gonna know the "what's up" meme, but that was what makes this perfect. It's for this part.
We are the last generation that is ever going to know what the fuck "what's up" was, or what its origins was, or even the parodies. Like,
yeah.
Oh, like when they did this, like, I felt like I just got hit by a 2x4, metaphorically speaking. Because it was like, oh, okay, yeah, he's trying to sound cool saying "what's up," but I did not realize it was "what's up," until Steele says it, and then all the other Marines say it, like clockwork. Like if for whatever reason you're listening to this and you are still confused as to what the fuck "what's up" is supposed to be, look it up yourself. We're not telling you.
Just look it up. It's all, you can find sources somewhere.
Yeah.
And then
Know Your Meme probably has it on there. Maybe? I don't know. I don't know if it predates. It definitely predates most of the shit that gets, like, recorded on that fucking website.
And then look, and then just wonder what the fuck we were on when that became a meme for a while. I don't I got nothing for you there. Meme culture was very
Yeah.
different, but we're not talking about that.
Meme culture was more natural, damn it.
Yeah.
You didn't just call anything that you thought was funny for 5 minutes a meme. You called something a meme when it actually had reached a proper memetic status of everyone knew what the fuck it was.
And it lasted for more than like a few weeks.
That's why Rick Rolling's the ultimate meme.
It's-
That's why we still remember Loss, regrettably.
Regrettably, Lost will never go away, no matter how much we want it to.
Whatever, as long as it causes Tim Buckley more anguish than us, I'm good.
Yeah, but we should get back to the episode itself.
Yes. Back to the awkward use of lingo in high school. Yes. Steve unfortunately finds his first suspect after crashing into Octus / Newton, having an extremely awkward conversation, and then leaves.
Just leaves, and it's like, I found our suspicious guy. It's like, wow, you do. I mean, Octus is very suspicious. So
as that happens, as Stevens is continuing his mission, Lance continues on his journey into making music by buying a guitar and starts learning how to play at home, which then factors into yet another example of how much he embodies like that moody, like brooding, angsty teenager so well. Is that as soon as Ilana and Octus, see him in his room practicing, and they're like, "Oh, cool, you're learning how to play guitar. That's awesome." Then he's like, "Oh, yeah, I need to go." Just
so embarrassed.
Wants to practice elsewhere. Like, he doesn't want to be seen or acknowledged or even complimented on that.
Yeah.
I sure feel fucking seen by this moment. I've totally had moments like this.
Yeah. Where you've been found doing a thing and you don't want, and you feel embarrassed by, you're like, no, I'm not.
Yeah. So the next day at school, all three of them are, doing things normally until obviously a creature is sighted coming out of a space warp. And Octus, by this point, the show establishes that as Newton, he has a trademark phrase for when he instantly detects that there's a creature that's arrived. I have to use the bathroom. That's basically code for he's going to bow out for however many minutes as he needs to go get Ilana and Lance in order to deal with the crisis before resuming their normal high school lives. But at least during this time, Stevens tries to follow him, see where Octus is gonna go. And his way of dealing with Stevens is tricking him into entering the girls' locker room by swapping the signs on the door.
Which is very devious of Octus.
It's not the last time he's going to have to deal with this stalker. The final time is arguably more traumatizing.
Oh, absolutely. But we do get a scene just where we get to watch the three transform in the background while the guy is confused on what's happening. It's like,
just shook him off the trail successfully. It's a bit humorous. Kind of fucked up that Octus is chuckling to himself and patting himself on the back over the fact that he just misdirected a guy into the girls' locker room.
Yeah.
Whatever, that's his human side showing through, obviously, from all this time spent on Earth. But right now we got our major fight for the episode, or first major fight. Titan versus alien Shenron, as I like to call it.
It really is just Shenron. It's literally Shenron.
Yeah, it's just a gigantic snake-like dragon flying through the air. That's all their primary weapons are having a hard time hitting. So it's a good thing that Lance has the bright idea to create a giant robot-sized Kusari Gamma to take the monster down.
Hey, did you know the people who made this show are giant weebs? Who would have guessed?
Yeah. Fucking Japanese weapons. It got a sickle with a weight on the end of a chain. Sick weapon.
It's sick.
It's one of the best ones in Ninja Gaiden too.
It's sick as hell is what it is. I love I love one of those. Yeah,
because it deals with the creature pretty swiftly, cutting it up into all sorts of pieces, using the chain with the weight on the end to latch around and then swing around the creature from all sorts of different angles as it slices it open. It's so good.
Yeah, that's great.
A lot of the even though it's these kaiju are just referred to as creatures and typically don't really have any sort of names associated with them, or at least for most of them for sure. It's you're still thoroughly entertained by all these fights regardless because These are always the moments where, Gendy's love for, like, extremely kinetic animation is most appropriate and really gets to shine through.
Yeah. Get to see Gendy at his best.
And as this happens, Stevens decides to take a different approach. He starts interviewing students, like, around the school about a specific incident from a previous episode, which is a nice way of showing how, like, even something as episodic as this is still able to acknowledge a sense of continuity, where they talk about, oh yeah, remember that time when, like, a goop monster, like, basically, like, encased the entire school and was, like, terrorizing the students inside?
Yeah.
And apparently Lance and Ilana were, like, the ones that basically helped save the day in that moment. You know, they didn't need to use their robot forms, least of all because it would blow their identity. But now it's like Stevens and General Steele's men have gotten more of a lead now. They now know that there are 3 suspects. And if only Steele could match them properly to their actual robots, because this was a nice touch. I love where it's like you see the photos of Lance, Ilana, and Newton, like, on the corkboard, and then he, like, Steele puts the different robots on top of them, but they're in the wrong spot. I love that, like, as a sort of acknowledgement of, like, you fucking meathead, you're so close.
You're so close. It's a very funny gag that's like, you almost had it.
But after all that, we get another look at Lance's continuing journey as a musician. He gets the attention of Disenfranchised and starts jamming out with them during a practice session that he's like, yeah, he's now one of the band. He helped write the melody for one of their songs and gets basically asked, hey, you want to play with us on this gig that we got in the park a couple days from now? It's like, yeah, sure. He'll do that. It'll likely improve the rest of Sherman High's opinion of Disenfranchised, least of all because the girl's favorite boy is in it.
Yeah. That's how they get the attention because of Lance.
Like, as soon as Lance, embarrassingly so, gets, like, outed out as, like, oh yeah, he's playing in the band tonight, and it's like first Ilana is, like, excited in that same way that, like, a little sister is excited for something cool that their big brother is doing, and then all the other girls are just like immediately hounding her for information. Is like, oh, so Lance is in a band. Yeah, so that's what's coming up, but not before Octus finally deals with his stalker once and for all, with a bit of a suggestion from Ilana. They lure him to the janitor's closet, capture him with, like, bioluminescent, like, tentacles, pull him inside, and then start strobe light flashing in front of him with the voice of God, telling him what he is doing and to leave this school immediately.
Man practically pisses his pants, and he's like, no, I'll leave. And it's like, yeah, I get that. I'd also fucking almost shit myself over something like that.
Same. Yeah, definitely. But even so, Stevens, even though his cover is blown in the school, like, it is 100% known to Octus, Lance, and Ilana at this point. He still knows that they're going to be at, like, this little, like, mini concert gig in the park tonight. So General Steele puts his next plan into action, with him and all of his men arriving in the least convincing civilian attire imaginable. It's not even so much that the clothes are out of place. It's the fact that, like, these roided up men, like, are somehow able to pass off as, like, normal people.
It's so funny. They don't even look like they belong.
Yeah, because, like, the rest of the crowd, it's literally everyone else at Sherman High, because, like, Disenfranchised, they normally would not be getting a crowd.
Yeah.
But because Lance is there, it's like, it even catches the rest of the band off guard, because they're like, wait, we don't get crowds. Why is there a crowd?
Why is there a crowd? Yeah.
And they kind of put 2 and 2 together that it's like, oh, it's him.
Yeah.
But it's not going to stop them from still playing their new song with Lance participating, everyone getting excited. But oh no, turns out the creature from before, parts of it still survive and is looking to attack. So Octus and Ilana need to come up with a plan to deal with this, while also dealing with the fact that the Marines are like hot on their tail of, like, exposing their identities. So how about some holograms?
That's their solution. It's holograms. Just happens to work.
Yeah, and the part that makes the hologram shit really good is part partly because of a moment of consideration from on Ilana's part, because Lance is obviously playing when this is happening, when the monster is like about to show up again and like cause problems. Like Lance almost instinctually when he gets news is like no, wait for me, I'll come. But then Ilana's like, no, you have someplace you need to be right now. People are here to see you. Like, keep playing in the band. We'll take care of this. And so the way they managed to solve this problem while simultaneously foiling General Steel's plan to like expose them is that the holograms of Ilana and Octus as Newton are in the crowd, which completely like bamboozles Steve because he sees them leave initially. But then, in order to make their alibi super convincing, is that they create a hologram of Lance's robot, Nanus. So, instead of a Titan fight, you get all 3 individual robots fighting the remains in what basically looks like a fireworks show to everyone else in the background because it's far enough away from the park, but all the explosions happening is like adding to the atmosphere of the music. Like, as shitty as Disenfranchised is supposed to be as a band.
Yeah.
Like, Lance's inclusion, you get why it is making them more popular now.
Yeah.
But I imagine part of it as well is because Lance's contribution to the song itself, as far as like composing the melody and playing it, makes it so it's like, oh no, the song actually gets to be half decent for once.
Yeah.
And it gives you a vibe that you are like 100% on board with.
It definitely works pretty well for this scene. It really enhances it in a good way.
Yeah, like, and also kind of doubles as one of those, I guess the show's way of doing its version of, you know, like how like a Super Robot anime or like other type of action-packed kind of hero type anime might have an insert song with lyrics that kind of goes along with a battle. Like this is basically Sym-Bionic Titan's answer
you're right.
to that, and it works super well.
Yeah. No, you're right. It is just them using an insert song, which is a very Mecha thing to do.
God, if it was easy for me to, if it were easy to anyone actually to get a hold of like the actual OST of like all the music used in this show but like clear and like not mixed in with dialogue or anything like that, I would probably have half a mind to use like the song from this particular episode is like the ending for this podcast. But alas, no.
Oh, well.
It's really hard to find anything of the sort because, again, there was basically no merchandise for this show.
Literally
That's
nothing.
how it is.
Yeah.
Well, whatever. It was a good sequence. You know, we got to see that our heroes could still fight and defeat one of these creatures even without forming Titan. You get like a good music number mixed in as well, and of course you get to see Steel basically get humiliated for having his plan ruined yet again.
Yeah, where he's like, "No, it can't be these kids. It's got to be someone else." It's like, you were so close.
Yeah.
You were so close.
And then he has to, like, basically get on the nerves of everyone else when he is like, there's a battle happening out there. All of you need to leave the area in an orderly fashion now.
Yeah.
When everyone is like, fuck off, dude. It's part of the show. But alas, we hit the end of the episode, and the very next day, Lance has been kicked out of the band by these fucking hipsters because he's too mainstream.
Of course, there's no way he could have stuck with this band. We got to get things back to the status quo. So, yeah.
Yeah, but at least it was like a fun way to kind of put like a nice little tie on like the whole arc of Disenfranchised and like what type of shitty high school band it is supposed to be.
Yeah.
It's like, it's not just a shitty high school band that is bad at making music. Oh no, it's a shitty band that's bad at making music that is doing it like for what they solely believe is the art of it all.
Yeah.
It's like if it were a punk band, like if they decided to go like the classic punk routes, 100% that they would be like making jokes about like the whole punk's creed or ethos, what it is? Yeah, just that whole thing. But instead it's a case of like, we're not doing this to be popular. We're doing this for the music.
Yeah.
And it's like, what music? Your music sucks.
It's like y'all were, they're just talking out of their ass. That's just it. They're like they're a bunch of teenagers who think they're deeper than they are.
Oh, yeah, especially when it's like the final exchange between them is like, it's music. Who cares who listens to it? But to which the front man replies, see, you just wouldn't get it.
You won't get it. And it's like, okay, whatever you say, buddy.
Whatever, loser. I think we'd all enjoy a Lance solo album instead.
Yeah.
Even though it would probably be just as like high school deep as these losers, it would still sound better.
Yeah, it would sound way better.
Or we could just go with Ilana's idea where she is like, oh, whatever, you don't need them. Hey, we could actually form our own band.
Yeah.
I'm told I have a lovely singing voice. And it's like, oh, no. Ilana, please calm down. I've seen how you've been in other episodes.
Yeah.
I've seen, like,
No.
we know about the episode where you go way overboard on the planning for, like, the school's homecoming nights. We don't need this.
We don't need this. We don't need this.
Oh, and said homecoming night is also one of the more tragic episodes from Octus's perspective.
Yeah. But this,
those are our episodes.
This is a good
That's
show.
Sym-Bionic Titan.
Yeah.
What a good fucking cartoon. Oh man.
And you know what? I'm glad it exists. Even if though it's sad that it got cut short, I'm glad we got what we got, and the episodes are such quality. Like, it's not like we got an okay show that could have gotten better. No, we got a great show that could have been incredible.
Yeah, especially with like just the latter half of the show really sealing the deal on like its quality.
Yeah.
Because again, like I'd always like, you know, prior to like watching the rest of this, like Sym-Bionic Titan in my mind had always been based on what I saw from like those first 8 episodes and just being like, yeah, I was in that position of like, that was good.
Yeah.
Shame it got canceled, but whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But now obviously like my tone is like completely different, having seen like the full scope of, you know, all these 20 episodes and just being like, no, they were really starting to cook like as it got further and further along.
Mm-hmm. You got to see them like perfect what they were trying to do, like just getting better and better, which made like the lack of a season 2 really hurt. But oh well, it's been years now, and like it's not the worst cancellation I've ever seen for a show.
I guess just to lead on that further, what would you say is the worst cancellation you've seen for a show by comparison to this?
Infinity Train still hurts. It fucking, god damn it. I wanted more Infinity Train, but that got. What about for you? What do you think is the worst for you?
I don't know if it's really a case of like canceled. I guess for lack of a better term, or not. I don't know because when I just think about how I know what my favorite mecha anime is already, I'm obviously going to lament the fact we don't have a sequel to Shin Mazinger.
Oh yeah, okay, that also is like kind of sucks that we didn't get a proper.
Yeah, but again, that doesn't really like feel like it's the same kind of like bitter cancellation like it is with this one, you know?
Yeah.
At least with Shin Mazinger, we said as much when we did that episode. It at least like did its version of the Z story and finished it. Yeah. It's just we never got the great Mazinger story, the version of that.
Yeah, we never got like what the rest of that would have been.
But Sym-Bionic Titan is still a hell of a time. We can only hope like a Deus Ex Machina in our own lives can happen that like undoes all the injustices in the past 15 fucking years and we get like a follow-up to this. I mean, I'm at least glad that Gendy like got to at least have some closure in finishing Samurai Jack. That was something.
Yeah,
it'd just be nice if this could get the same treatment.
I'm happy for you, Gendy, that you got to make the movie you always wanted to make, which is about a dog getting neutered and which is filled with dog buttholes and dog eating poop. And what the fuck? Why is this the movie you're like, no, this is the one I wanted to make. This is my dream movie. I love you, man.
I did not notice what the fuck that was. I have clearly not caught up as much with like what the hell Gendy has been doing since like he moved on from doing all like those Cartoon Network productions. I know he did Hotel Transylvania. Yeah, I thought that's what you were gonna be leading into or something.
Oh no, I'm talking about his new Netflix movie Fixed, which is about a dog getting neutered, and it's filled with dogs saying fuck and prostitute dogs and stripper dogs and lots of buttholes.
Oh my god, I just looked up like the main photo for this, and it's like, what the fuck am I doing?
Hey, do you want to see a dog?
It's like I just see, like, oh yeah, oh yeah, an adult anime. It's like, do you think Gendy Tartakovsky's a fan of Ralph Bakshi?
Oh,
because this sounds like a fucking Ralph Bakshi production.
This is absolutely him channeling his Ralph Bakshi, his inner Ralph Bakshi for this fucking.
Oh my god! Oh, now I need the fucking. Now I need to get like an interview of him where like if it's like if he can confirm that and just go on about, oh yeah, he thinks Coon is one of the greatest movies ever. Or Coonskin, I forgot. It was not. Yeah.
Probably loves Fitz the cat.
Yeah, that probably would be more likely. I don't know. Oh well, let's just hope that like someone sees reason and greenlights Black Knight for like a full movie production.
Please do. I would love give him the fixed money to make this Black.
Yeah.
Oh, what a way to end this this episode.
I was not prepared for that. I was so not fucking prepared for that.
Well,
holy shit.
Well, now you all know about the existence of Fix, so you're all welcome. This is what I'm here for. Good night, everyone.
Yeah, thanks, Neff. Thanks everyone for listening, even if it was this far in.
Yeah.
Tune in next time when we talk about another non-Japanese giant robot, the one that you probably were all expecting for this week.
Yeah, I don't need to say the line. You know the line.
Yeah.
We'll see you all later.